Здравствуйте всем, с вами Yasha. Hey guys, I'm Yasha. Welcome back to Russian 1010 Review. Today we're going to continue our study of the Russian alphabet and practice our pronunciation of the Russian letters and also learn about the important spelling rules. Готовы? Are you ready? Поехали. Then let's go.
Alright, let's start by learning the sounds of the Russian letters. A, A, B, B, V, V, G, G, D, D, Ye, Ye, Yo, Yo, J, J, Z, Z, I, Y, Y, K, K, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, O, P, P, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, U, F, F, H, H, T, T, Ch, Ch, Sh, 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 E, E, Ä, Ä, U, U, Ya, Ya. Now let's go back and look at the difference between sh and sh. When we talk about sh and sh, we're talking about the difference in the tonal pitch. So sh has a lower sound, sh, sh, that you make with rounded lips. And sh comes more through your teeth, sh, with the higher pitch, sh, sh, sh. Okay, let's break down the letters in the Russian alphabet a little bit further. What are the consonants in the Russian alphabet? Well, here's a complete list of all the consonants. And what are the vowels? Here's a list of all the vowels. The Russian alphabet has 21 consonants and it has 10 vowels. You might find it interesting that the letter I kratkaya, which means short I in Russian, that makes the y sound, is actually considered to be a consonant. Now what about the hard and soft sign? They look like that, right? Well, although these are considered letters in Russian, they do not have sounds of their own. The hard sign and the soft sign will both come after a letter. And when you have a hard sign that comes after a consonant, it creates a slight break in the word, like in the word object. You hear the break there? Object. So that's what the hard sign does. It puts a stress on a consonant and it breaks up a word. It works as a divider. Now the soft sign does just the opposite. The soft sign softens a consonant, like in the word mat. It makes the T very soft at the end. When the soft sign comes between two consonants, it usually creates something called a Y glide, so it makes a Y sound. When there's a vowel that comes before the consonant that the soft sign follows, that vowel will usually be short or unstressed.
Now that we've learned all the letters and the pronunciations, let's talk about some of the important spelling rules that you'll have to know during this course.
Now what are these spelling rules I keep talking about? Well, the Russian alphabet has two subcategories for some of their consonants, and they are known as hushers and velars. Now what are the hushers? The hushers are letters that are formed in the front of the mouth, so when you go sh, it's the letters that are formed in that space in your mouth. That's why they're called hushers. And the hushers are je, ch, sh, and sh. And when you're adding suffixes on to words that end in these letters, those suffixes cannot begin with I, ya, you, or o. They instead will have to be replaced by I, a, u, or ye, respectively. Now what are the velars? The velars are the letters that are created in the back of the throat, and so those are g, k, and ch. Now these letters can not be followed by I, they will instead be followed by I. Ts also has its own special spelling rules. Ts cannot be followed by ya, you, or o. Instead, it has to be followed by a, u, or ye, respectively. Now let's talk about terminal consonants, voice versus voiceless consonants. Now what does this mean? Essentially, there are certain consonants in the Russian alphabet which are known as voice consonants. Now, if these consonants come at the end of a word, they cannot be pronounced as they would be if they were in another part of a word. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine a word ends in the letter b. Now, you cannot pronounce it as b. It instead has to be pronounced as its voiceless counterpart, which is p. You can actually hear when I say b that my vocal cords are working in conjunction with the air that's coming out of my mouth, which is why it's called voiced. But the letter p, or the sound p, is just made with the release of air and the formation of my mouth, and that's what makes it voiceless. My vocal cords are not working. So, again, if you have a word that ends in b, it is not pronounced as b, it's pronounced as p. If you have a word that ends in v, it is not pronounced as v, it's pronounced as f. The same for d. D is t. J is sh. G is k. And z is s. So one more time, if you have a word that ends in either b, v, d, j, g, or z, it will never ever be pronounced like that. They will instead be pronounced as p, f, t, sh, k, s. Now let's talk about stressed versus unstressed vowels in Russian. The big three vowels are o, ye, and ya. An unstressed o will usually sound like either a or a. An unstressed ye will sound either like I or y. Yet an unstressed a will usually sound like I, but sometimes it can sound like y as well. Now, how will you know if a letter is stressed or unstressed? Unfortunately, there's no good way to know. The book Colloquial Russian has the stress marks written in for you, but if you were to pick up a Russian newspaper or book, there would be no stress marks. So the only way for you to know how something was pronounced would be to look in the dictionary and find out where the stress is. So in order to learn where the stress is and how to pronounce things properly, you just sort of have to memorize as you go.
In our next lesson, we're going to talk about some of the vocabulary and terms that you learn in Chapter 1 of Colloquial Russian by Rutledge, Taylor, and Francis. I'll see you next time. Увидимся!